to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd. So I decided the last person I would interview before I start talking about the upcoming seasons, give my predictions and all that jazz, it would be someone who is no stranger to the broadcasting world, but more importantly, someone who is no stranger in being my co-host. So with further ado, please help me welcome onto the show today, Tyler Elliott.
Hi, how's it going? It's great to be back.
It is. It's a little bit different than how we normally record it. Now, I mean, if you can't tell, probably you can, probably you can't. Tyler's recording on his phone and everything while he's living his life in Delaware. So how's that been?
Yeah, it's 152 miles away. It's very flat, very cold, very windy. But other than that, the Philly sports scene is alive and well down here in the Delaware Valley, and it's nice, except for the Eagles fans. They're still seem to be a nuisance, even though they suck. So
yeah. I mean, the football season was crazy. I know you're a Saints fan and everything, and I don't
want to talk about it.
the Saints season. Next question. Yeah, we'll go right on. But yeah, so for people who are unaware, Tyler and I, we used to do the podcast. It's still called the Free Kick and everything. But Tyler used to be my co-host when we would talk about the Premier League, the Champions League, and the London Underground series that we used to do. And, Tyler, like I said, he moved away. Life happens. Tyler's living in Delaware now. Work became too much for me to watch the Premier League as much as I wanted to. And, life goes on and everything. But, I'm just happy to have you back on the show. And this time we get to talk nothing but the Philadelphia Union.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. It sucks that like you said, life goes on. But looking back, I still have some of the same files on my phone. I go back and listen every now and then just to memorize. And it was wow. The times we had, the people we talked to, never a regret, never a bad moment. Honestly.
Yeah, honestly, it was not. I mean, it was cool, too. Shout out to Piccadilly FC, who was one of the teams in the London Underground, sent Tyler and I our own customized polos and everything, got the Free Kick logo on the back of the shirt and everything, and then had our names initialed and everything. I mean, that was cool. District Line sent us some stickers and some pins and everything. So, I mean, it was cool, getting stuff all the way from England and everything. And like you said, the guests we had on the podcast and everything. I mean, these friendships that we made and everything. I mean, it's been awesome. And like I said, yeah, it sucks. Life goes on and everything. But, Tyler and I are still in contact, even though, we don't do the show. It doesn't mean, I don't talk to Tyler anymore. I still talk to Tyler. So
it's not like we didn't live next to each other for 20 odd years.
Yeah, 21 years, but who's counting? Something like that. So.
No podcast. All right. Well, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, we're not doing the podcast anymore. Yeah, Tyler. Yeah, we can't be friends anymore, man. I can't talk to you. I got to block you on all social media.
Yeah, you're too high profile now. You had to distance yourself.
Yeah, Tyler. We don't like your kind around here. But so I know the story. But for everybody who's listening, can you tell everybody how you became a Philadelphia Union fan?
Yes. Well, I'm sure if you were an early listener, supporter of the show when it first kicked off, you heard the episode where we kicked around the idea of starting an MLS, a fandom, if you will. And we kicked around the idea of DC and Philly, and me being a commuter, of course, I was like, dude, DC traffic is honestly the worst traffic I've ever been in my life. For that reason, I'm all for Philly. And I sold you on it with I think and myself being a Flyers fan from very young age, and now I find myself a Phillies fan just because of the where I live. But it's weird because I didn't think I was gonna sell you. I thought you were gonna be the homer to DC, and because Phillies has a rough reputation, a very aggressive fan base, passionate, if you will. I wasn't sure if you were going to be on board, and we decided. We went to the first game, and it was love at first sight from there.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And I mean, yeah, I mean, that is kind of weird. Like, I feel like my sports fandom's so weird. Like, I like the Pittsburgh Penguins and I like the Steelers and everything up in Pittsburgh. So you're like, yeah, why would you ever be a Philadelphia fan and everything? But like you said, I mean, say it all the time, going down to DC, it's like, yeah, it might have been closer to our house and everything. But like you said, I mean, the traffic down there, just forget about it and everything. So an hour away from where we lived, and I'm sure you're a lot closer than an hour now where you live. It's
40
like,
minutes.
it's like, yeah, it's not bad at all going up to Chester and everything. And the tickets aren't overly priced and everything compared to other sporting events and everything. So, I was happy, 2017, when we started talking about it, I was like, yeah, sure. Let's watch the Philadelphia Union, and I haven't thought twice about it. But you said the Toronto game, and I'm going to assume that's probably one of your favorite moments from last season. And don't say the first playoff win, because I've been telling everybody we'll talk about that a little bit later. But what are some of your favorite moments from last season?
I gotta say, my first fan interaction, I think it was against New England, I believe, when we were sitting in the River End. I think it was our third game there, or my third game there. I think maybe your fifth, possibly. And I was just joking around. I was bowing to Casper, and he bowed back, and just that acknowledgement of like, that's cool. Like I'm not afraid to be like, I got a little, I goes like I fanned out for a little bit. I was like, there's something about that atmosphere in the River, and it's one of a kind.
Yeah, absolutely. And that wasn't a bad game for us to go to, sitting in the River End when we saw Philadelphia destroy New England 6-1. I mean, you started a chant. Like, do you remember that when it was like 5 goals, you were like, we want 6, we want 6. So then other people started selling, we want 6, we want 6. And then you were like, can we get a 7? Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that was an awesome night.
Oh, yeah. Unforgettable.
What about you have 2 other moments that stick out for you?
That was one. So I'm gonna improvise, and I'm gonna say it's got to be the comeback against Red Bulls for the first derby game I went to with my girlfriend. You were there with yours. And what a game! I mean, I don't want to go into too much rambling. Everybody, of course, knows, but the atmosphere that's again, it's one of a kind, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a great game and everything. I mean, you sat in, I think, 139. I was in 138. And nobody's going to forget that game because, we were down 2-0 and everything. And like you said, I mean, Philly sports fans, they get passionate and everything. So people were pissed off in the River End. And not just there. I mean, the whole stadium. It's like, really? We're down 2-0 against these guys. You allow an ex-Union Academy player and Brian White to score a goal. He chips Andre Blake and...
Yeah, a cheap goal.
Yeah, it was. It was ridiculous and everything. I was like, Jesus, man. It's like, how is this happening against a rival and everything? And then the second half, started, and Jamiro, he scores, and what a big player Jamiro was last season for us. And, of course, we'll talk about him a little bit later. And then it was the Ilsinho game. I mean, he took off, and I was hoping for a hat trick, but, we're taking a brace, It doesn't matter how he scores the goals as long as we beat the Red Bulls. We're all happy about that.
Absolutely. Unforgettable night. Absolutely unforgettable.
And then for the third game, I said it earlier. I'm just put it there, even if you don't want to say it. I gotta put that Toronto game in there for us. I mean, that was the first game that we went out to Talent Energy. I mean, we sat in 117. Remember getting yelled at for standing up when people were like, "You can't stand here, only in corners."
Yeah, that's when I truly knew that. Oh yeah, I'm in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and we try to convince our 2 friends to come with us too, and they're like, "Nah, man, we don't want to watch soccer." And then you're like, "What about the River?" And this seems interesting. They're like, "No, we're not standing, we're not cheering." And honestly, I think I was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know the songs and everything. I don't want to go in here and look stupid and everything." But I mean, even before that game started, we were walking up to the stadium, and the Sons of Ben were coming back from their tailgate and everything. And they yelled at us, so like, "Get in, get in!" And we're like, "Oh, we might as well." And we didn't know the chants, but we were like, "Okay, that's our first time that the Sons of Ben, anybody has embraced us, and we haven't even went inside the game yet." So I mean, that was pretty special to march into the stadium with the Sons of Ben.
Yeah, that again, that was my next moment. I had like 5 written down just in case this happened, but I mean, we covered 4 pretty solid good moments. But yeah, that just seeing the smoke and people getting in and then cheering and chanting out front of the river end, and that kind of embracement you get. You know, they don't know your name. They don't know if we're even supporting the team. You know, we weren't even wearing blue. If I remember, it was so cold that day, and so to just have that instant be like, I'll say it, brotherhood, and be like, come on in, you know, you're one of us now, and it's just that's what it feels like. You know, we're one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, just thinking about that Toronto game, I just remembered something else. Remember that little kid that was to our left that gave Michael Bradley the middle finger? And you were like, I'll buy that kid a beer. You were like, wait, I'll buy him a sippy cup or something.
I may have said that. I may have also had a beer.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, that game was so cold and everything. I mean, like the 2 idiots we are, we forgot beanies and everything. We're like, man, we got to go find beanies or something. We got to find long sleeves and everything. Because I mean, we were both pretty bundled up and everything. We're like, man, we're still cold and everything. So I think you got a scarf that day. I got a beanie, and the beanie you wanted to get, I forget what happened with that, but I think you eventually got it. But I mean, yeah, that was just a great introduction to our first game for the Union in person, even though they lost that game.
Oh yeah, you know, it was even cool to see. You know, I'm not gonna lie, to see like players like Michael Bradley, players that you watch on TV. And you know, they have this history with the national team, and it was cool to see that. You know, even Josie Altidore, you know, who's on the sidelines, you know, it was almost surreal to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are players you watch, like you said, on TV. You've seen them play for the national team in the World Cup and everything. Like, wow, like I'm here in person. I'm watching these guys in flesh and bone and everything. Like, is this real life and everything? Because it's like so cold and everything. You're like, man, there's no way I'm here in person. Like, I'm dreaming this, but no, we were definitely there. And we got to see Marco Fabian score his, not a brace, but he scored on his debut, a penalty kick. So even though we lost, I mean, I wouldn't have changed that moment for anything in the world.
Yeah, I believe that was also the first time, and I believe the only time, because it was so complicated. We did a podcast in the car on the way home. It was that was interesting. It was very fun.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. I mean, how could I forget that? I think we labeled it like our first MLS game or something like that. I mean, I still have all the files on my computer, but like you were holding the mic up while I was driving. My voice was gone and everything, and you were giving your thoughts and everything. We had a whole bunch of notes and everything because I think the plan was to record before the game started and then record after the game. But yeah, we were like, no, let's just go in the stadium. Let's forget about recording right now, and we'll do it all at the end. So a good memory, Tyler.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That I remember it was such a pain because we had to keep pausing every time a semi got next to us. So every time I had to save the recording, it would just save and geo-track us. And I just kept sending you all these road names, and you were like, what are these? I was like, these are the files.
That is right. The difficult times, you know, technology, you gotta love it. But let's move on to some news. The first bit of news I'll bring up and everything is not Union related, but I want to get your thoughts on this, Tyler. So, I mean, it's making waves around MLS and everything, and that is the signing of Javier Chicharito Hernandez to LA Galaxy. Chicharito has signed a 3-year deal, which will make him the highest paid player in MLS, while the Galaxy have paid a transfer fee to Sevilla of $9.6 million. Now, I don't know if you remember this, Tyler, but when we were doing the podcast and everything, we came up with our 2 teams and everything. Like, oh, you named yours, I think, Annapolis FC, and I named mine Baltimore FC, something like that. We're like, what players could come into MLS that we could see back in the day? And both of us said we can 100% see Chicharito coming into the league. And, well, now he's here and everything. Now he's with LA Galaxy. I mean, what do you make of this?
This isn't surprising, as I think people, you know, obviously it's hype when a one-time Galactico player comes in and to the MLS and can change the organization, like, you know, we saw Ibra did with LA Galaxy and how he impacted that team. I think Chicharito can absolutely have the same impact, maybe even more, I'll dare to say, than Zlatan for Galaxy. I think he can fit more into that system. Obviously, the ego isn't as high either, so I think the locker room will be a lot more happy. Obviously, because of his heritage and the heritage around the area, that place is going to be rocking. I think it's a great signing, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with you. I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever city that LA Galaxy goes to when they play away, I mean, there's going to be so many Mexican national team fans there wearing Chicharito's jersey and everything. They're going to be there just to see Chicharito, kind of like it was when, Zlatan was there. Everybody came out to Talent Energy to see Zlatan and everything. And I agree with you. I think this is a bigger signing than Zlatan because of, like you said, the heritage and everything and just the big Mexican population in LA and everything. And this is a guy who's arguably the best player to ever play for the Mexican national team. And now he's finally here in America. And you're going to get so many players coming out to games and everything that aren't necessarily LA Galaxy fans or necessarily MLS fans and everything, but they're Chicharito fans. They want to see him flesh in person and everything. It's like, the price to go see these national teams play is ridiculous and everything. And now when you compare going to different MLS games and everything, it's a lot cheaper to see an MLS game than it is to watch Mexico play the United States or whoever they may play in America. So this is going to be such a crucial marketing piece for MLS, and not only that, but for LA Galaxy too. And it's a big transfer fee and everything, but the Galaxy, they're going to make all this money back because of marketing. And I agree. I think it's a great deal for Galaxy. I think it's a great deal for the league. And unfortunately, he's going to LA Galaxy, but I think he's going to hit the ground running.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw even when he was at West Ham, it looked, he had these moments where it looked like he never missed a step. And I think bringing that over to the MLS, where obviously the quality isn't as high, I think he can still definitely make an impact.
Yeah, and honestly, when you said West Ham, I totally forgot that he was at West Ham, man. Like, when I think Chicharito,
it was very forgettable.
It was. I think Manchester United, I think, Real Madrid when he went on loan, and then after he left Manchester United, he went to Bayer Leverkusen and really tore it up for Leverkusen, and West Ham's like, let's bring him back to the Premier League. And, well, it didn't really work out as great as it had in the past for Chicharito, but nonetheless, I mean, the Mexican fans went crazy for Chicharito. But the next bit of news I want to bring up is I've been saying on this podcast, it's official. Cory Burke has been loaned out to St. Pölten, who play in the Austrian Premier League, Bundesliga, not Premier League, the Bundesliga, over in Austria, where Anthony Fontana and Matt Rio both had training stints in November, and now the loan's supposed to last until May. I've been saying, I thought Cory Burke was coming back to the Union after his loan in Jamaica, but it looked like paperwork, again, is the holdup. I mean, everybody knows it's the reason that Cory Burke had to go to Jamaica in the first place, because he lost his visa and all that complication with the paperwork and everything. So now he's going to go in Europe and play European soccer and everything, and it's like, he can go have better competition than he would in Jamaica and everything. And if he comes back here and he's a better player, that's great for the Union. But, if he impresses so much with St. Pölten, maybe they give the Union a transfer fee and buy him. And, that's not bad either for the Union. I think this is a win-win for Cory Burke, for the Union, and just for every team that's involved with this.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree. It's a win-win for everybody. If you can get the money or the loan and the option to buy, and they do end up buying him, that's great. That's great for the front office. If he does come back and comes back well-trained, fit, and with paperwork, then all the better for the Union.
Absolutely. And then Mark McKenzie, he signed a new deal with the Union last week. The deal is until 2022, but he has a club option for 2023 and 2024. Now, my last episode, I had Heather on, and we were talking about this deal, and I was like, I think Mark McKenzie will obviously be here for the 2020 season. He'll be here for the 2021 season, I believe. But once 2022 comes, I think, if he keeps progressing, by that 2022 season, he'll be sold off to Europe and everything. And it sucks losing your best players and everything, but he has that much quality about him, and he's only 20 years old. So it's like the sky's the limit for this guy.
Yeah, I think that's where it's one of those situations where it's damned if he does well and he can do well for the Union, but unfortunately it's a double-edged sword where there is that potential that if he could get sold to Europe. I mean, this kid, the sky's the limit for him. I mean, I think there's a lot of young raw talent coming to the Union that I think everybody's really excited for.
Yeah, we are. And like I said, I mean, it sucks losing good players. Nobody wants to lose good players, but it's like, if you're losing good players and everything, that means that the system's working. That means the academy is working. Or if you bring these young players from Europe and everything, and they're trying to fix their career and everything, and they impress for a year or two in MLS, and then they get another chance to go over in Europe, that's a great thing for the union, because that gives spotlight on the team to other players in Europe and everything. Like, man, I mean, it might be soccer in America and everything, but look at so-and-so player. They were having a tough time here in Europe. They go to MLS, and now they're getting a second chance in Europe and everything. So maybe I should go check out what this whole thing is in Philadelphia and everything. It seems like they're doing it right. So it's like I said, I mean, it sucks. It really does suck losing good players. But at the end of the day, if you can keep losing those players and then bringing in as good as talent, then it's no big deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, then at that point you're doing good in the office. You're building the brand. You're getting exposure, and that's always great.
And speaking, I'm glad you brought that up, Tyler. But speaking about building the brand, Bimbo. His new logo on the away kit is going to be Artesano. And I know you and I were talking about this. What are your thoughts on this deal, Tyler?
I did have a change of heart at first when I showed you the screenshot I saw that I showed you. I was like, I hate this. You said check out this clip. It's in high quality, and here's an actual picture of it. And then I've had a change of heart. I honestly think I like it. I like it a lot.
I mean, the one thing I will say about it is the Bimbo logo was a lot bigger on the jersey and everything, so it made it stand out. And the Artesano logo looks a little bit small and everything, but still, all these people that were complaining, "Oh, I'll never wear a Bimbo kit because it says Bimbo on it or Bimbo." But now you have an option and everything, and like, it's not bad. It's like, the union listened to the fans that were complaining and everything. And I know, like you said, I felt the same way. I was like, this. At first, I was like, yeah, this is great. Then I saw some blurry pictures and everything. I was like, oh man, this sucks. But then once you see the high definition pictures and everything, you're like, yeah, I can definitely rock one of these. I mean, props to the front office for listening to everybody. And it's like, I'm hoping to see a lot of people that were against Bimbo or Bimbo in the first place. Well, hopefully they'll be buying jerseys that say Artesano next season or this season.
Yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction for exactly what you said. People that I'm also one of them. It's just like, I don't know. It's just some of them. I don't know. It's just the way it looked. I don't want to have that talk, I guess.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. I don't. I just want to live my life. But now that there's this option, I think that's a step in the right direction for everyone. And I wouldn't be surprised in the future if we saw more of those Bimbo brands or partners, if you will. Like we saw that the suggestions would be like Entenmann's in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that.
Yeah, absolutely not. But, I've been asking everybody this question, Tyler. Will Ilsinho resign with the union? Well, guess what? We got some drama, Tyler. We're going to talk about the drama that has unfolded on union Twitter the last couple of days. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, we got the drama alert.
I wish I had a sound clip for this. I really, really wish I did. Not yet. Not yet. We will play it. There we go. Thank you, Tyler. Breaking news. So, if you've been living under a rock, there's been some drama surrounding Ilsinho's family, we should say. Ernst Tanner came out, and I'll read the quote from Joe Tanzi. Ernst Tanner said, he just needs to put his signature on the contract. Speaking about Ilsinho, I mean, there's nothing else. That's it. It's pretty obvious. He's like, yeah, we put an offer on the table for Ilsinho. Now it's on him. Like, we'll take him back, but it's like under our circumstances. And well, Ilsinho's sister takes to union Twitter and says, his offer is ridiculous. Tell the union to give him a better contract to their best player. The offer is ridiculous. She said to another fan. She was like, how many games did this guy win for the team last season? Then she starts pulling out a whole bunch of stats and everything. To me, that sounded like, okay, this is some agent giving her stats and everything to, put it out there like, look what my client did. And if an agent didn't give her these stats, then props for her for doing her homework. And she was like, oh, they gave a better deal to Monteiro. They gave a better deal to Mark McKenzie because they did good last season, and they really did. But why shouldn't my brother sign the same contract if he was the best player from last season? Ilsinho, come back to Brazil. We miss you here, bro. So, Tyler, what are your thoughts on these quotes from Ilsinho's sister?
I think it's a very weak hill to die on. Look, we talked last night a little bit about this, and I'll say it again to you, and the first time for everyone else. This dude's not a starter. This dude's a super substitute. Every time he starts, he's gassed by the 40-minute mark. He can't close out a full game. It seems he's so much better off the bench. To say he's the Union's best player, I'm not that. I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I know. And then I'm trying to find the quote. Maybe she deleted it. I can't find it. But she called out. I can't find it. I'm really looking for it. I can't find it. Maybe she deleted it. But she called out and said, somebody's, what was it, like lowballing or blackballing Ilsinho? Somebody doesn't like him or whatever. That's why he doesn't play as much.
He's not getting the minutes because someone doesn't like him. I can't think of any, like, who would impact that other than Jim Curtin. I don't think Jim Curtin doesn't like Ilsinho. I'm not buying that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, and I just found the quote. He plays just 40 minutes because someone doesn't like him, but he still needs time on the end. I'm not really sure what she's applying there. It's like, you're right. Jim Curtin's the one who makes the decisions, It's like, everybody knows what Ilsinho can do off the bench. It's like, I get it, your brother and everything, and I respect your wishes. You just want to see your brother do well, get paid and everything. I'm not going to bash somebody for wanting to get paid and everything because, we wouldn't like that for somebody to say, oh, this person deserves less money than the job they're doing. Ilsinho did a great job last season. There's no denying the stats that he did. He changed so many games and everything. But to say somebody doesn't like him, that's why he only plays 40 minutes, no, he's 34 years old. Like, Jim Curtin gave him chances last season to start, and like you said, you saw after 40 minutes he was gassed, and he couldn't go until the 45th minute. If he was just walking. And I remember the game against DC United in the U.S. Open Cup. It's like when that game went into extra time and everything, Ilsinho cannot do anything. He was basically walking that game, and it's like Ilsinho's best role is coming off the bench, and I want Ilsinho here. You want Ilsinho here. The fans want him here. The question is, does Ilsinho want to be here? And props to her sister. She's like, at the end of the day, it's his decision. It's bigger than anyone's wishes, even mine. So, props for her for admitting that. And it is a business deal and everything, but it's like, come on now. You got to be a little bit realistic with yourself. Like, Ilsinho, he just can't start anymore. And if you want him to go back to Brazil, who's really going to pay Ilsinho $350,000 in Brazil to sit the bench? Because as soon as a team in Brazil would sign him, they would realize he can't start and everything. Ilsinho is not going to get signed by another team in Europe, and he can't go to another team in MLS unless the Union trades his rights and everything. So, I appreciate you looking out for your brother. I appreciate you making a case and everything, but it's like you said, it's his decision. It's bigger than your wish. It's bigger than my wish. It's bigger than your wish, Tyler. It's bigger than all of our wishes. And so it's like, we'll see if he comes back. I was pretty confident that he would come back with seeing the Union use his picture for social media. But, now all this happened within a day or two, and I'm not really sure anymore.
It's very unfortunate. There's a lot of circumstances, but at the end of the day, we as fans have to see business as business, and we're gonna get the short end of the stick. Sometimes players are going to chase the dollar. Sometimes they're not. It's all about how they feel. It's out of our hands. It's something I don't think we should take so hard, I guess.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's definitely a fair point because at the end of the day, like you said, it's a business for everybody. And it's like, as much as we want him here, he's looking out for himself, for his family, and he's going to look at what he thinks he's worth. And if he thinks that the Union lowballed him, then he's not going to sign the contract. And I guess we won't see Ilsinho in MLS anymore. So just enjoy him for when we had him, and that's all we can do. But what are your thoughts?
In the words of Gary Thorne, baby's got to eat.
Hey, there you go. But what are your thoughts on the trade of Fafa Picault to FC Dallas for $375,000? Fafa was out of contract, so he would have been a free agent in this upcoming season. And then Auston Trusty, the trade to Colorado Rapids for $750,000, and he had an option for the 2020 season. What are your thoughts on these two guys getting traded away?
think the one that hurt me the most is Fafa, because that was the first guy I started to really like. I guess, he was like, whenever he was in the game, these runs, these deep runs into the channels he would make, the speed, the pace, just the pure athletic ability of this guy. I mean, the height he can get on his jumps is phenomenal. He can head the ball. He can finish, kind of. But he can cross. He's a really, really great player. And having him being traded away after having a season of like actually almost buying a Fafa jersey, I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But like I just said, I got to get over it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, the Union are comfortable using that 4-4-2 formation, that diamond, and there's no room for wingers on this team and everything. And like, honestly, like there really is no room for Ilsinho either if you are so committed to using that. The only time Ilsinho comes on is when they switch to a 4-2-3-1 to accommodate Ilsinho to play out wide and everything. And so, I mean, I don't want to keep bashing Ilsinho because I love Ilsinho and everything. And I love Fafa Picault too. But it's like at the end of the day, there's just no room for wingers on this team. And we've seen the Union make 2-3 signings for center midfielders, and we'll go over those. And Auston Trusty, it's like, this guy had chances last season, and, he got beat out by Mark McKenzie to be the number 2 center back on this team. And it's like, we wish you all the best, Auston Trusty, but, you got us a good chunk of change back, and you got us a 30% sell-on clause if Colorado trade him over to a European club, which is huge. I mean, a 30% sell-on clause.
Great deal.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's talk about the signings. So I'll start off with Jose Andres Martinez, a.k.a. El Brujo, the Sorcerer, the Wizard. The Union have paid a reported transfer fee of $325,000 to Zulaya FC. El Brujo has signed a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option. He's a 25-year-old center defensive midfielder who can also play as a right back. Ernst Tanner came out and said, Martinez, he's more of a project than a day one starter. Are you happy with this deal, Tyler?
Yeah, actually, I think from the little, if you can dive onto the webs and see this guy's play, I think I like what he brings to the or what he can bring to the Union. I think. At 25, I don't know how I feel about saying, he needs to get used to the league. I don't know. I think that it's very speculative. There's not a lot of info, but I at the same time, I got to trust the scouting from the Union. And I dig this signing. I really like this signing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a player, who's not playing in a tough league in Venezuela and everything, but yet he was so close to getting a call up to the national team, now coming over to America, playing in MLS. If he has a good season and everything, I got to imagine, once the international duties starting up again for these players, I got to imagine if he's playing well in MLS, he'll be one of the first players to get a call up for the Venezuelan national team. So this is a guy who's super duper motivated. He's a guy who's going to give his everything. And it may not take him some time to adjust to a league, to new teammates and everything, but I'm super excited for this deal and everything because the potential of this guy is just unmatched. And then the Union, they re-signed Aurelien and Collin, the center back, to a 1-year deal. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this is a stabilization signing. Building up the depth. We saw last season at times it seemed like half the roster was injured. Or we got to bring in what was it? That guy off the street who was a goalkeeper at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good depth signing. It's every now and then you can't rely on Jack Elliott being out there every game. You got to give this guy a break sometimes, and I think Aurelien and Collin can be that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if he's starting 2-3 games in a row, I mean, that's time to worry and everything. But to fill in every now and then, I mean, he'll be playing a lot in the U.S. Open Cup, I got to imagine. But, I mean, I'm happy with it.
Tall.
Yeah, that too. And it's like, this guy has experience playing the league and everything. He's a veteran with the Union, they kind of lack. They have a very young team and everything. And this is a guy who's seen it all in MLS. He's won MLS Cup and everything. So I'm really happy to have Collin back just for his leadership alone. But going on to the next deal, the Union have signed Jamiro Monteiro from FC Metz. They played a paid a club record fee for $2 million to Mets. Jamiro signed a 3-year deal with a club option for a fourth year. Tyler, I know you got to be happy with this.
Oh yeah, I love this deal. This we talked about it all last season. This kid has drip. This kid has so much potential. Oh my God. I think the only thing I would say he's lacking is I would say kicks off the penalty spot. I mean, he had a lot of misses. But other than that, he's so good in the midfield. He's so fluid. He creates. He's an engine to the team, and a really key signing for the Philadelphia Union.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you and I talked about this guy so many times last season. We called him the N'Golo Kante of MLS because, I mean, he was looking like Kante. I mean, it's pretty hard for a player to be like Kante, but just what he did last season, I mean, I don't have to convince you guys. I mean, you guys have seen what he did, and I mean, if you guys, didn't watch Jamiro that closely last season, then I'd say what were you watching? Because, I mean, this guy was all over the field, like Tyler said. He was an engine, and you and I both didn't think this deal would get done, and I've been saying on the podcast, I think this deal would cost anywhere between $2.5 million to $3 million, and the Union got him for $1.5 million, a little bit less than that. So, I mean, great work from Ernst and everything, and I can't believe that we re-signed him. But you ready for me to play the clip, Tyler?
Oh yeah, let's roll that clip.
Hello, my name is Matej Oravec, and I am really happy that I can be here, and I hope to see you soon, and we will have a sexy season. See you.
You ready to have sexy season, Tyler?
Oh, I'm ready to have a sexy season. It's sexy season, baby.
Absolutely, sir. I know I've been pronouncing this guy's name incorrectly and everything, and even listening to that video and everything, how he pronounces his name. I'm still not 100%, but I'll give it a go. So the Union have announced the signing of defensive midfielder Matej Oravec from Dunska Strata. I'm probably pronouncing that club incorrect too. They signed him to a 3-year deal with a club option for a 4th year in exchange for an undisclosed transfer fee. Now, according to transfermarket.com, the 21-year-old Slovakian can also play as a center back and a right back, but Ernst Tanner says, nope, I see him primarily playing as a defensive midfielder. I would guess, even though the team didn't come out and say how much this deal cost, I would guess that the deal was anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million. And I know there is reports over at sport.sk that were claiming that Strata would receive around 1 million euros and other bonuses for Oravec, but Ernst Tanner said, nope, that is all fake news and everything. He doesn't talk about transfers, and he said, I don't normally comment, but the million is a little bit high and everything, so I don't know, maybe anywhere between $500,000 to $750,000, maybe not that $1 million. But I mean, this is a guy, Tyler, who has played in Champions League and Europa League qualifiers. He played in the 17 of his 18 club games this season for his club, and he was nominated for the Golden Boy Award in 2018. I mean, I'm super excited about this. What about you?
Yeah, again, I think this is another key signing for the Union. This is another player with just raw talent, and I'm really excited. I've seen when they announced the signing, I immediately went to YouTube. I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep watching. And the things I've seen, I can almost say he almost plays very Eric Dyer-esque in the versatility between center back. And you do see a little bit of him moving up the field. He's very fluent with passing. And I think that's always acceptable. And I'm going to go on a limb. And I think this is the signing that is going to almost, you could say, replace Medunjanin.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I know Jim Curtin came out and said, that's a lot of pressure to put on one player, let alone two players. But, there is qualities. And Ernst came out and said, if you want to play transitions, then you need to win the ball in some way. Matej for sure has that ability, but he can also distribute it, like you said, Tyler. He's very versatile in terms of positioning, like you said, Tyler. He could also play as a center back, but I don't like that. I see him purely playing as a holding midfielder, and I agree. It's like his distribution just top notch, too good to be playing as a center back primarily. It's like, man, for everything that Harris gave us and everything, I'm appreciative of this. of that. But, we finally have a defensive midfielder, Tyler, who has some pace on him that, super duper young and everything. The potential for this guy to get nominated for the Golden Boy Award in 2018, that's to the best young players in Europe. I mean, that tells you all you need to know about this guy. The potential this guy has is just, it's scary. It really is scary. And I think this is going to be an underrated signing in all of MLS. And people are going to get pissed at their clubs if they're not a Philadelphia Union fan. Like, why weren't we scouting this guy? Why didn't we sign this guy? Like, I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on this kid, but from everything positive we've heard from Jim Curtin, Ernst, from the YouTube videos and everything, I'm super excited, man.
Oh yeah, I think what this kid brings, I think Jim's got it absolutely right. I don't think he's got the strength to be a center back, like Jack Elliott has, like Mark McKenzie has. Like, all of our backs are pretty strong. I don't see that in him. I see him being almost like that feeder. That person, that ball will always come back to, and then he'll feed it out, and or always come back, and then, almost like a sprinkler of distribution all over the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to move on, though. Man, it was. But hey, I'm super ready for sexy season, man. So I hope that the team sells some sexy season shirts, because I'm definitely all in. If not, I'll create some. So.
Yeah, we know we definitely need some sexy season shirts. Somebody's got to make.
Absolutely. But anyway, let's move on. So I'm going to go back to what Joe Tanzi said in his article that he released the other day. Ernst Tanner spoke and said this about conceding too many goals and potentially more signings. With 50-plus goals against in 2019, you really won't win anything. That's the main focus in the moment, and I think we have added quite a few pieces now to our roster, which makes us more stable, but certainly there is more to come. So listening to Ernst speak again, he talked about conceding 50-plus goals, and it's pretty obvious that Ernst is still annoyed with that, and he's spot on. You're not going to win much if you concede 50-plus goals, and he's admitted in the past that another center back is coming in. So I want to know, Tyler, in your opinion, what else do you think the Union need to do to bring in players? What other positions do they need?
Well, yeah, like you said, and the rumor around Twitter and Reddit is that there is an unnamed trainee lurking, or I don't want to say trainee, but you know what I mean.
Trialist.
Lurking. Yeah, lurking around the training ground that hasn't been named. Nobody knows. There's undisclosed. And I'm fair. I can't put my feather on what this team still needs. I think we've made a lot of great midfield signings. I'm hoping attacking depth maybe is the only thing. More options. I mean, what do you think?
Honestly, my biggest concern was the midfield and everything, and a lot of people have been saying they want another striker. And like your favorite guy that you found on Twitter, Union Hawk. I mean, gotta love that guy. He keeps calling for Ronaldinho, and I know you love that. I mean, you're a guy yourself, Tyler, who loves any player with Inho in his last name. So I don't know. Maybe are you Union Hawk? Are you, Tyler?
I am not. I can't take the credit nor the glory of that Twitter account. That is some top quality stuff.
It is. I mean, I've known you for my whole life and everything, and you're a guy who loves players with Inho. So I don't know, man. I think you might be holding out on us. I'm just saying. But I don't know, man. I mean, people say Bartatelli all the time. People want another striker, and it's like, I like the strikers we have, honestly. I know you're asking a lot for Casper to produce the same season he had last season. I know, Andrew Wooten and Sergio Santos, a lot of people say they had disappointing seasons. And then you have Mishi Galina, who we rarely saw last season, who apparently the Union are high on. I mean, I know you're asking a lot for these guys to, produce just as well or better than they did last season. And yeah, I understand that and everything, but I honestly believe that all of those guys will step up and have better 2020s than they did in 2019. And I don't know, maybe some kind of attacker coming off the bench if you don't bring back Ilsinho. I mean, you lost your bench piece in Fafa Picault too, but I'm honestly happy with the roster right now. I mean, yes, bring back one more center back since you are lacking because you let go of Auston Trusty. And I know a lot of people say right back too, but I think Ray Gaddis is here to stay. And Olivier Mbaizo, who everybody thought was going to be the right back last season, who really disappointed with injuries and his chances he was giving, he didn't really impress and everything. But, I still got to believe that Ernst and the coaching staff thinks that this kid could be something one day. And I mean, he's getting caught up to the Cameroonian U23 team. So obviously they believe in his talent. So I don't know. I'm kind of happy with the team, to be honest.
Yeah, no, so am I. I've liked every signing I've seen. I don't think there's a mixed one, any head scratchers in the batch. I think the front office deserves a big hand this year for almost restocking, reloading, if you will, the artillery.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm going to ask you 2 more questions, and I guess technically 3, Tyler, before we end the podcast. I'll start with the easy one first. Can we expect to see you at more Union games for this upcoming season?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Being 40 minutes away, yeah, absolutely.
And I've been saying it the last couple of times on this podcast and on Twitter and everything. I'm definitely going out to the first tailgate, and definitely won't be my last time going to the tailgate because everybody says they're a lot of fun. So I hope to see you there too, Tyler. And I'll get introduced to everybody, and then I guess once people know who I am, maybe they know my voice, but they don't know my face. And then once people see my face, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is my buddy Tyler and everything. And then boom, you're part of the Sons of Ben, Tyler. So.
Yeah, no, I am kicking around the idea. I am putting some serious thought into it now that I am this close. We are looking into moving almost even closer, but hopefully, if the finances work out and I can, and my girlfriend as well, then absolutely, I would love to be a part of the tailgate.
Absolutely. But here we go. My last question for you, Tyler. So like me, last season was your first time going to Talent Energy Stadium. What do you think of the atmosphere? I know you're a person who's been to Flyers games, you've been to Terps football games, you've been to Orioles games, etc. But how does that atmosphere at Talent Energy compare to the sporting events that you've been to?
Yeah, there's, I'll add another one, the Citi Field. I've been to on a Monday night to watch the Mets, and nothing. I promise you, nothing compares to being at Talent Energy Stadium in the River End, day or night. It doesn't matter. The atmosphere is infectious. With you don't expect to be singing and chanting and jumping up and down. But there you are, and you're just doing it, and you're looking around, and other people are doing it. People you don't know, complete strangers. It's almost it's this weird sense of camaraderie of being I don't want to be a cornball, but a union. It's there's nothing like this atmosphere. Like I said, hockey. It doesn't matter. The Sons of Ben, the atmosphere they put into the River End is absolutely one of a kind.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And, I'm happy, that we took the chance to go to a game last season. I say it all the time, and I'm happy that we sat in the River End. And I knew I would get hooked because I love soccer, and I knew you would too, but I guess I didn't think that I would get this hooked where, my sister and I are now season ticket members. We're now Sons of Ben members and everything. We're all in, baby. And it sucks that we live an hour away, that we can't go to a lot of the team events and everything like we would want to. But, you're spot on with it, Tyler. I mean, no atmosphere that I've ever been to comes close to what...
I encourage everyone, even if you're a casual fan, even if you're a diehard Premier League fan and you hate the MLS, go out to a Union game, go out to an MLS game in general. There's nothing like it. It shouldn't be, but it is a once in a lifetime experience for your first time to walk up to Talent and see everything. I wish I could relive that moment where I fell in love with the Philadelphia Union.
Spot on, man. Spot on. But the easy part right here, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at FreeKickTyler. I'll be I've been a lurker, but I'm going to get more active with the union now that I live so much closer. Jesus. And now that I've my fandom's even gotten more passionate. I think I have 9 scars now. I may have a problem, but that's a discussion for another day. But I've slowly infected my house as well. Living with my girlfriend and her parents, I've slowly turned everyone into a Union fan. When we were watching the playoff game against Atlanta, everybody started slowly creeping into the living room, like, "Oh, what are you watching?" and ended up cheering for them. So I think I brought in 3 more Union fans to town, maybe this year.
Man, Tyler, you're doing God's work. We're so proud of you. Thank you so much.
I'm basically saving the team, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're saving the team, absolutely, man. But
I'm putting it on my back.
But if you're not following the podcast on any social media, you can follow the podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Free Kick Pod. You can check out the brand new website, thefreekickpodcast.com, where you can learn a little bit more about myself, about the podcast, how it all got started. You can go and find episode titles there and everything. And hopefully, I keep saying it, the website, hopefully it's going to get a lot better than what it is currently. And, wherever you listen to your podcast, just search The Free Kick, or if that doesn't work, then type in The Free Kick, Todd Lewis, and that's how you find it. But, I want to say, and thank you to every guest that I've had on. This is the busiest I've ever been, podcasting. I've lost track of how many episodes I did from the 30th of December up until now and everything. This is a crazy month and everything. And I was sick there a little bit in January and everything. And, I fought through it and everything. And I got to meet so many great fans. But, I got to end, my interviews with you, Tyler. And thank you so much for coming back on the show. I had a blast talking to you, and especially about the Philadelphia Union.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was great to be back. I was almost nervous. I'll be honest, to come back on. I haven't done something like this in a long time. But it was really nice. And everybody, absolutely check Todd out on Twitter. Check out the website. Check out the social media and everything. Guys pumping out great quality Union content.
And thank you so much. But check out my man's Tyler too. This guy's a great person to be around and everything. And if you couldn't get that from this episode and everything, he really is a blast to be around and everything. And it sucks, that we don't live as close anymore and everything. But we definitely gotta make it a time to definitely hang out still and everything. I know we play Xbox with each other every now and then, but just hanging out in person, nothing can beat that and everything. And so I get it, doing a podcast, you haven't done one in forever, it seems like. So it's like, oh man, how am I going to sound? I hope I don't sound too stupid, like, getting jitters and everything. But I think you sounded fine, man. And I just had a blast, reconnecting with you. And as you named the episode, the ReUNION. So it was a blast, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, maybe one day in the future we could do it again. It was awesome. Definitely great to reconnect. It was like putting on the old hat.
Absolutely, man. And for anybody, that's listening, you want a guest, when I was doing this and everything, if you're interested, you can, I gave you where you can find me on social media and everything. And you're more than welcome to come on and everything. And, I'm definitely going to have you on during the season again, Tyler, and everything. And for any guests that I had on previously, you guys are more than welcome to come back. But I'll probably be taking a little bit of a break here until the season gets closer and everything. Getting a new dog and everything, so it's going to be fun readjusting to the dog life again and everything. So
well, now you got to give us the scoop. What kind of dog?
The same kind I had last time. Well, actually, that's a lie, because what I had last time was an American Staffordshire Terrier, but this time it's just a Staffordshire Terrier, which, fun fact, this dog, the father that created this dog, he's from Norway. So this dog's like half Norwegian, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's awesome, dude.
It is. But so I hope you guys enjoy these episodes that I pumped out here the last couple weeks and everything, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know I'm rambling here, so I should probably cut it off now. But with that said, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.